it's really abysmal what's happening at the California state level. So there was a report that my good friend at Fox News she wrote. She's I think she's independent now, but she did a really good kind of like expose, basically saying where a lot of this money is going. And what you'll find is that Democrats or Gavin Newsom and his party of Democrats are in bed with a lot of these unions, a lot of these workers, the people that are basically um, in charge and getting the deals, getting the contracts with the city that are being put in charge. If you take a look at the finances, it's like the saying goes, just follow the money. What you find is that not only are the people auditing in bed with these same politicians, but even
Mm-hmm.
the people that were put in charge to basically quote unquote fix the homelessness problem are
Yeah.
also donors and business partners of these same Democratic politicians.
So
And
it's a
and look,
mafia.
yeah, it's basically what it is. And you might be listening, and you're like, oh, here he is, like bashing Democrats. But
Yeah,
the reality is that
I
the
know that.
Democrats control the governor, they control the state senators, and they
Hmm.
control the state, basically the whole state
Assembly.
legislation,
Hmm.
the assembly, the Senate, and the governorship. Who
Right.
else can you blame?
No one
Who else can you
really.
blame, right? You can't blame anyone. And so to me, again, it's about speaking truth. It's not that I'm trying to Democrat bash. I'm just trying to give you guys exactly what's happening.
Hmm.
And so what ended up happening is you have these quote unquote nonprofit organizations, you have these government organizations that are being created by the cities in the state of California to hire people to tackle homelessness. Oh, we're gonna open up a committee. We're gonna launch this new committee to see where it is that we can help with homelessness. But the reality is that to blowing through $24 billion, homelessness has only gotten worse. And the
Yes.
reason
Yes.
for it, and the reason for it is because again, if you follow the money, you come to find out, okay, just put it into perspective. There are organizations that had over 100 employees. And when you take a look at how much these people are getting paid, the chief executive officers, the presidents, the board directors, whatever you want to call them, the people basically in charge of solving homelessness are getting paid upwards of 100 to $200,000 a
Crazy,
year,
dude.
in
That's
some cases
crazy.
up to $300,000 a year to solve homelessness. That could include benefits, that could
Right.
include stipends, that could include travel expenses paid per diem, etc. Now ask yourself
That's criminal, man.
if it's insane. And the thing is,
Considering homeless, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but homelessness
no,
has
go ahead.
increased since 2013 to 2023 from a study I found 53%. And from a
Yeah,
study from 2015 till now, it's gone up like over 60%. So like
yeah,
the
man.
fact that you can get paid all this money, like you're saying right now, and you still have a failure of a track record, and it continues, and then Gavin is out there continuing to give reason, that he's trying, right? But I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I had cut you off.
No,
Just
no,
wanted to
no.
say
That
that.
no, that. But you're absolutely right, man. And here's the reality: is so you have these people that have probably never made this kind of money in their lifetime,
Yeah,
and now they're
yeah.
getting paid $200,000 plus all these allowances by the government, guaranteed money,
Hmm.
if they help solve homelessness. Are you going to be one of those people like? More than anything, people want security. That is why I stayed in the military for so long, because I'm like,
Hmm.
look, I have a family, I have kids. I want guaranteed security. I want to make sure that no matter what happens, if I get sick, if I break a bone, if
Hmm.
if anything were to happen, I want guaranteed income every 2 weeks. And I get it. A lot of people live that way. I no longer live that way, and thankfully, I'm in a
Yeah.
spot now where hopefully if nothing were to happen, I've got some money put away. But it's really incumbent of me, because if
Hmm.
if I can't work for 6 months, I'm going to be in some serious trouble. But it's part of life, man. You got to be willing to take those risks. But getting back to what I was saying was, as far as security is, what person can really sit there and be like, I'm only going to take this job for 2 years,
No
make
one. Yeah.
$300,000 or 400 or 500, but it's my mission that in 2 years I no longer have a job because I want to solve homelessness. And the
No
reality
one with the
is
right
that
mindset can think like that.
right, exactly. You're thinking, how can I keep this job forever?
Hmm.
Right? If you're making $200,000 a year, why would you want to go anywhere else?
And I
So
will
it's
say
like
200,000 is a lot of money. I mean, because I'm kind of like in your position. I don't have a guaranteed income, and when I make 200,000, it feels great. And
yeah,
and if it's a big difference, 200,000 from like, I don't know, anything under 60,000. So I could see why they don't want to let that go. But that is honestly criminal to say you're helping it and then you just see it get worse, right? And it's just going into
right.
pockets. But what's
And
the
here's a
reality though?
and here's the thing though is we can also dispute that homelessness is not going to be solved in 5 years or in 2 years, like I
Right.
proposed, right? Like,
Right.
oh, Anthony, are you really that naive to think that a board of directors or a committee is really going to solve homelessness in 2 years? It didn't take 2 years to create the problem. Why would you think that it's going to solve it? Sure, but you just mentioned something very important, and the important thing is that so then why are these people keeping their job?
Yeah.
Why, if you hired someone to help run your company or to spearhead your company, and these people did not return profits, or these people didn't make a profit for
Mm-hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
or didn't make a profit for your investors, whatever the case might be, or they didn't solve the problem in which you hired them to solve, why would you keep them on board?
Right.
Why
Right.
would you not fire them? So that's the problem, is that it's the same people. It's the same people there for over a decade that say, well, you know what the problem is? We need more money. That's the reality. We need higher taxes so
Right.
we can go ahead and knock out these problems. That's the reality. It's not us. It's not our fault. It's not my fault. I get paid $300,000 a year and I can't solve this problem. It's actually the taxpayers' fault because we need more money. That's the reality, and we need to create more incentives, and we need to create that. And it's a bad business model. I don't think any sane person that was distributing all this money out. But again, it's guaranteed money. These
Mm-hmm.
people don't have to worry. You touch on something, like, oh, when I make 200,000, it feels great.
It's huge, dude.
It's an
Oh,
incentive though, right?
yeah.
Because now you're asking yourself, okay, I know I've done it. What do I need to do, or what do I replicate to
Right.
make it happen again? And so you're gonna try to go back and be like, what steps did I take? And you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
look back at sleepless nights,
Mm-hmm.
hard
All the
work,
time.
taking risk, like maybe making that phone call to the person they told you not to contact, right? Like, hey man, this person doesn't like to be bothered. Don't bother them. You're like,
Yeah,
no, dude,
exactly.
I need to call and close this deal. People tell me like, hey, you got to be careful with people with money because you don't want to bug them and you don't want to.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I'm not going to take that advice because then I'm never going to close this deal or whatever the case might be, right? And it's the same deal with me. Like I do social media marketing. I reach out to companies all the time. The best case scenario, I'm making more money a month. Worst case scenario, nothing happens. But
Right.
you never would find out, right? And so imagine you don't really have that incentive. That incentive is there for both of us because
Mm-hmm.
we have to go out and seek these opportunities. That
Correct.
incentive is
Correct.
not there with these directors because they know they have a guaranteed job. Whether homelessness goes up or down, it doesn't matter because you can just create a whole new set of problems and a whole new set of solutions and be like, well, look, I've now pointed at where the wrongs are. We just need more money for the solutions. And then it's just like a perpetual cycle. And the thing is
And
that people are just
yeah,
going to continue to buy it, you know?
right. And our way of living, or in terms of how we make our career, it's a matter of results driven, right? So that's how we
Mhm.
make our income, as opposed to them, it's not. But what makes it even feel better when you make a certain amount of income is the constant effort you're putting in it. So it makes it even more special, and you appreciate it because not every time I hit that, I go low, I go up, I go low, I go up, as you were saying, like every month, it can change, but I think language is a very important weapon. When you're fighting homelessness, you're never gonna beat homelessness. It's like saying you're never gonna make someone not be poor. It's impossible,
Right.
unfortunately. So by them saying they're gonna fight homelessness, it's a good weapon for them to basically say, I am fighting, but obviously they're never gonna solve it, right?
And also, just to be clear, like homelessness is not just about being poor. There's
Right.
actually very few cases in which a person is truly homeless
Drugs,
because
yeah.
they fall into hard times. Like, oh, you know what? I used to have a stable job and now I'm out in the streets. Usually, those people, what ends up happening is they go live in the streets for a couple months. They're on a wait list to go into some kind of shelter, and then they work their way up. They're like, look, I used to live lavishly. I lost that life. I can no longer afford it. I have $0 to my name. sure, I'm gonna live in this tent or whatever the case, but I'm gonna work myself back up,
Right,
because
right.
the reality is there's so many different organizations and nonprofits. I mean, here, like, for example, let's say you came up to me and you're like, Anthony, I've fallen in some hard times, and let's just say you weren't, married and like you didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you live on the street, man. That's the
Thank you,
reality.
dude.
A
Yeah,
lot of these
yeah.
people
Likewise.
have friends and family, and people could be sitting there and saying like, "Oh, what would you know? Why I have a middle brother." I think I've told you this. I have a middle brother who is
Hmm.
homeless.
Hmm.
But it's not because he's poor. It's not because he's not able to work. It's because he chooses, in an addiction life, and that's the reality that we also need to face when we talk
Hmm.
about the
Hmm.
quote unquote homeless problem. It's not that we have no homes to put these people in, because there's a lot of different projects that our taxpayer money is funding to put these people
Sure.
up in rooms, in hotels, whatever the case might be, homeless shelters. So there is a lot of programs out there. It's just that people want to have to do it. And so I have this brother, that unfortunately wishes to stay out there. When I talk to him and I say, why don't you just come home? Like, there's plenty of space.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need
Sad.
to make $1 million. We just want to see you do better. You can stay here for free. You can eat our food. We just want to see you do better. Um, the reality is, and this is what he's told me, is, but I don't get to do what I want here. You have rules. I have to wake up at a certain time. I have to be home by a certain time. I can't be out past a certain time. I can't come home high. I can't come home and do what I want to do. So I'm
Hmm.
not going to stay at your home. I'd rather be in the street where I can live and nobody tells me anything. So that's really what that community is mostly about. Again, I'm not
Hmm.
trying to generalize here,
Right, right.
but I haven't
That's
just
true.
talked to my brother. I've also talked to all the people in his community, because there's so many times, unfortunately, that I've had to go out there looking for my brother because we haven't heard from him sometimes. So I get to talk to people. I get to talk
Dang,
to
sorry
people
to hear
that,
that. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like, kind of going super personal here, but
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah. No.
again, it's you have to know these things, because it's important to know.
Hmm.
And when people think of like homeless people, they're like, oh, it's just people that have gotten under bad times. Like, why are we ragging on them? They're already, down on their slumps, whatever. But you have to approach these realities, because otherwise, how are you going to solve these problems, right? So,
Right. It's finding it's leading back to what you said. It's finding the core, the truth behind it to be able
right.
to then actually do something and help.